Alright, good morning. Welcome back to Grumpy's Laid Back Carving. Let's get my dust mask set up. Today I'm going to work on a challenge that Jordy Johnson put out for everybody in the Carving Fusion members page and then off of his YouTube groups. He wants to do a little Rob, is what he calls it. As for Just Carve Rob, him and Just Carve Rob had a little inside joke going around, and Jordy carved up a little Rob and said he wants to carve up a bunch of little Robs. So he pulled up a little challenge, and that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm really not sure what this species of wood is. It was just dead in the back of my yard against my fence, and no leaves were on the tree anymore, so I'm not sure. The bark does not act like oak, the way it's wrapping around it, so I'm not really sure. But it's a deader tree, so I hope it ain't too spunky or nothing like that, so we'll see. I'm gonna put my dust mask on and get with it. I don't have a good noise cancellation set up, so it just depends on how loud this is in the video on whether or not I want to put a voiceover in it and stuff. But the challenge was supposed to be a little Rob, a little caricature with a bunch of hair all the way around it. Wants the top rounded over, big old nose, and just hair all the way around it. Almost like a little Cousin It. That's what I think of when he says it's a little Rob and it's all hairy. I think of Cousin It with a nose. But here we go. Alright, using my Dremel flex shaft and Dremel 4300. Extreme cut saw taper burr, debarking this old dead piece of wood here. Again, I'm not sure what species it is, but it's not too hard, so we'll see how it starts to clean up. Alright, we're still working on cleaning that piece up. It's not going too bad. I need to get a better setup for my downdraft. I'm using my shop vac right now. It does a good job, but I think I need to clean the inside filter out. It doesn't seem to be pulling as good as it could be. That's where a foot pedal comes in handy right there. I don't know if y'all saw that. I was going across and the burr run and caught and pulled itself on around. I let off the foot pedal real quick before it caught my finger. But yeah, Jordy Johnson give out the good advice on that right there. If you can set yourself up with a foot pedal, that will save you whenever you hit yourself and when you catch your clothes. Because 9 times out of 10, that catches your clothes, your shirt, or a glove, it's going to snap your flex shaft. But it's better to snap your flex shaft than for it to wrap up and hurt you. But with that foot pedal, you come off of it quick enough, you can save it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. No, I'm sorry. Okay. First, this is, like I said, a dead piece of wood, so I'm cutting off all the old stuff, trying to get to something that's, you know, workable on the inside, and I don't want a super hard piece of wood, so that's why I went with this. A little bit easier to carve, but then I'll cut the bottom and clean it up. But the top of it, it's got to be rounded over with a little nose on there and stuff like that, and face all around it. And so that's what I'm working at now, is just getting the top rounded over. And once I get the top rounded over, I'll find me a spot that looks good enough to work a little nose and stuff into it, and then I'll try to go from there. It's been a while since I've done any actual carving. I've been working on the sticks and the cases more than I have the other stuff. But okay, here we go. Alright, I'm still using the Cut Saw Extreme taper burr, steadily cleaning this piece up. I don't go as fast as everybody else does when they carve. Sometimes I don't trust my grip and I don't want to get my finger with them burrs. But yeah, we do what we can do how we do it. That's what it is. Alright, y'all enjoy. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, that's what I made for my Dremel wrench. My big old hand, I was fighting picking that little bitty thing up, and I was bored, and I made me a little holder. Fractal burned it, filled it with epoxy my wrench in there. Pretty good. I like it. Alright, I was just knocking some of the fuzzies off of that, but that's my little shape to it so far. Now I gotta get my little guy. Now I can tell that's gonna be soft. That's where the wood's gonna it's trying to spalt in that area right there. I can shave all that off, but it's real soft right there. So I think I'm gonna go right here with the base. Hey, I'm pretty weird with my drawing skills. Sometimes I can draw, and sometimes I can't. It's weird. I mean, it's like when I really want to draw something, hey, it's like a little kid's trying to draw. When I really don't care what I'm drawing, that's when it always comes out looking decent. But I'm not like the great artist, but some of my stuff comes out looking good. And then I try to do it again, and it just don't happen. I don't know. I can't focus on it half the time. Stay right there now. I'm gonna go with the cut saw taper fine. I hope I don't plug it up. This wood's kind of dampish. We'll see though. Okay, at this point, I'm taking the cut saw taper burr, the fine burr, and going through trying to clean everything up. I go little by little when I carve, because like I said, sometimes the pressure, I can't tell how much pressure I'm putting down on stuff, and so I like to go, I guess, lightly and take small layers. That way I don't goof it up. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're using the cut saw taper burr fine and cleaning it up little by little to get my shape into it. That way I don't overdo it. I really want to invest into a set of those new cut saw fine detail burrs that they've come out with now. They look pretty good. I like carving a lot of the small stuff when I carve, so I dang sure utilize them. So yeah, that's on top of the wish list now as well. That wish list gets pretty big. But right here, I'm trying to draw in some feet. I wanted to put some little feet on there, but
I didn't think about that until after the fact, or I wouldn't have took as much material off the bottom, and that would have made them stick out better. But again, I don't carve as often, so next one I do, I'll leave the material down there so it'll work out right. But yeah, I'm enjoying working on this piece. It's been a minute since I've carved something like this, so yeah, it was fun.
Trying to find the right burr to give me a little undercut right here without going too deep. I don't want to take too much away. This is a lot of my little burrs that I go through. I got some of the itty bitty ball burrs right there. Right there. They are tiny. Just ate some lunch. We'll go with this little guy. Use that little guy.
Yeah, I've had those little Dremel burrs for a long time. I used them whenever I used to do my roach clips without my lathe. I used to cut a bunch of detail into them. I got some old ones that I've carved little butterflies and roses and hummingbirds and just stuff like that and put all through them. But they work great for that real tiny lines that you want to get. A lot of people that whittle, they'll use their gouges and stuff to cut them tiny lines in and them little V-tools, but I can't use the hand tools yet. And I just switched to my reading glasses so I can see what I was doing. It helps with you can see. It makes a world of difference. But yeah, I'm doing an undercut right there on the nose, trying to get the little bangs to come over the nose some and make it stick out. I had some tool marks in there I couldn't get out, so I broke out the sandpaper to try to get in there. I need to get some of those finger sanders. Wowie's workshop, Wowie up there, he uses them, and then Sophie on her channel, I've seen her use them. And yeah, I want to get some of those too. Like I say, the wish list gets big. But yeah, we'll slowly get there. That's it. But that sanding mandrel right there, I got 2 of those. Use the top left corner of the screen's got the some of the emery cloth on one, or I'm sorry, the 3M cloth is what I call it, like Scotch Brite, and then I have sandpaper on the other. But I got those from Peter Blair from Carvings and Such off Facebook. I got those years ago when I first found Carving Fusion. But I love them. They work good. But they fit the Dremel. They're 1/8 burr, 1/8 shank. But yeah, I use them a lot. They come in handy. At this point, I'm still cleaning it up. I'm trying to get that nose to really come off. So I'm taking the hair, I guess it would be underneath the nose. I'm trying to feather all that away, as Jordy would say. They say cut your line and then feather away. So that's what I'm trying to do. Cleaning it up, making it all stick out. So, but like I said, I carve a little bit slower, so we'll get there. But if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. I really enjoy the comments. It's fun. But yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching and enjoy. We're getting there. Alright, getting it all kind of polished down where it's good and smooth. And I'm fixing to go through and start cutting the hair all over. Fixing to show some little, the first one's a bigger one, but it's like an aluminum cutting burr. It works good because it's got a sharp edge and you can cut through and get a bunch of jagged lines all across it. And then that's a smaller version of the same type of burr. Works good for the smaller pieces, but that's what I use to cut my beard hairs and stuff like that in with. And I'll just go through and start sporadically putting little cuts here and there. And you don't want them all uniformed. I like to spread them all out and overlap and cut over one another. it gives it a little more texture to it, a little more flow. But it's all fuzzy as you do it, but it'll clean up and come together. But yeah, that's how I cut my hairs in. That's what we're doing at this point. Alright, still working on this little guy. It takes me a little bit, and I'm slow at it, but it's coming together pretty good. Getting all of it pretty much covered with hair now. Should have changed out at the feet right there. And then again right here, I try to get some more undercut with the nose and the hair. But yeah, I work myself back and forth on stuff so I don't take too much away. But yeah, that's why I'm so slow. And then here I'm knocking all the fuzzies off. Now earlier when I said sandpaper on there, it's emery cloth that's on there, but the emery cloth is real stiff. I bought a box off of Jordy Johnson's link a long time ago, and that stuff was perfect. It's nice and soft. It tears real easy. But I had to replace, I think it was the 150 grit, and then the next grit up. And I just bought some random rolls to replace it with, and that stuff is a lot stiffer. I can't tear it by hand. I got to cut it with my scissors when I pull it off the roll. And so it's good for sanding something big, but if you got any kind of detail, it's going to cut lines into it because it doesn't wear down as soft as the other. And then on this mandrel here, I have the 3M cloth Scotch Brite. And I feel you couldn't see it, but I shot it out of my hand a few times. And then I used my torch and burnt the rest of the fuzzies too. That's why it's gotten dark. But now I'm going back through, adding some more detail, cutting back into it again from where I knocked it off with the sandpaper and the torch. Because if you burn too much with the torch, you'll burn your detail away. And then here, I was getting ready to paint it, but I needed a wood burn. And I'm using a flat shader tip that I made, and I got it on its edge like a knife cutting into it, so it's not really giving it a bold line. I go back and eventually change and put a different tip in there and get a better line burnt around there, but I was being lazy at this point. I didn't want to swap tips, but I ended up having to swap tips anyway. But yeah, that's what the gloves are for. I was getting ready to paint it and then realized I needed to burn it before I painted it. Yeah, I have one of those Peter Child pyrography machines I ordered. I ordered it a couple of years ago. And I had a little more dexterity with my hands, so I could make my wood burning tips a little easier. Because with this machine, they give you wire. They send you some pre-made tips that the company made, but they give you some wire and kind of encourage you to make your own tips because you can customize them better that way. But the bad thing about this machine is the gauge wire that you use. It's real thin, and most of your tips that you can buy off of Amazon and stuff like that for these type burners are too thick for this machine. So you have to jack the machine up full blast just to get the tip hot enough to do a little bit of burning, and then that gets the handle hot within minutes of using it. And I spent too much money on the machine back when I bought it, so I don't want to melt it down. But again, that wish list, I want to get one of those cheap burners that's got that foam handle like what Amy Jo and Jordy Johnson are using, because you can get the the pre-made tips that fit those machines and stuff. I already got a handful that would go with it, but yeah, I want to get one of those here shortly. But yeah, right here mixing up the paint, excuse me, I didn't mix it up good enough. Well, I say good enough. I put too much water in my mix, so it was more like a dye. And so when I painted it, it's green and it's red, but it's real light once it dried. I have to go back and repaint it now that it's dry. But yeah, that's what we're doing here, is trying to paint it with that green wash. And you can see that, you know, it's soaking the wood down and not really giving it much green. So I go back, get rid of some of the water in there, add some more paint, try to thicken it up, as it's just that cheap acrylic paint. But it eventually paints on there, but like I said, I gotta let it dry, and then once it's completely dry, I'll redo it again so it'll be darker on the colors. I just start getting straight messy with it now because of the water wash was just too thin. And so I just started putting paint on the paper towel and getting a little bit of water on that and then smearing it all over. But again, the wood was just too wet. It wasn't taking most of the paint, and I did the same thing with the red, just started rubbing it all over. I got out of camera here, but yeah, it looked good at first, but then once it dried, it was super light. So yeah, I'll go back and paint back over it again with just some paint. I won't water the paint down at all. And then I think at this point I changed out the tip on my wood burner, and so I'm painting back through there. And then I go back around the nose with it some. You know, but yeah. This was a fun little piece. At this point I was just making a mess. I kept the gloves on, but yeah, here we go. And this is the end of the voiceovers for this one. It's been crazy, it's been fun. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
Alright, it's gotta dry. But there you have it. That's the little rub, green and red, natural a little bit. Once it dries, it'll probably lighten up some. And the wood's wet right now. But alright, there you have it. Got to clean up my box, take everything out, sweep up all my mess. That's one thing about the Dremel and the downdraft. You carve, all your dust shoots up and bounces around the wall. That's why it's good to have yourself a little box. It'll catch everything, and then you can just kind of sweep it up. But my box is lined with my projects of the minute, so yeah, I got to clean up all my mess and get organized again. But alright, thank you for watching. And if you made it this far, like and subscribe. Again, this is the little challenge for Jordy Johnson and Just Carve Rough. Jordy Johnson wanted everybody to carve him what he calls a little rub. He says it had to be red and green with hair all over and around top. He got him a big nose, there's his little shoes, and hair all over and around the top. Alright, I hope you enjoy. He wants to roll. There we go. Alright, thank you.